Okay.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. I appreciate it. We have on the phone Sandra from Daubert. We started working with Daubert just after CES this year, and we couldn't be more excited. We really do feel that we're partnered with a leader in this technology, and based on the turnout that I see on here, looks like many of you feel the same. So we're excited to be working side by side with them. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sandra, and we'll get started.
Thank you, Bill, and hello, everyone. I'm Sandra Finn, as Bill just introduced me, and I'm the head of sales and marketing here at Daubert. And with me today is my colleague Helmut Scheller, who is responsible for all the technical questions later. We're here in San Francisco in our office for sales and tech support. And if you happen to have any questions throughout the webinar, just type them into the question field, and we will collect them and answer them after we're done with the presentation. So yeah, let's get started. Just very briefly about the history of Daubert. Daubert is a spin-off of the 2010 founded company Intercom. And the first prototype of Daubert got shown at CES in Las Vegas in January 2015, and this was also at the same time the foundation date of the Bird Home Automation Group. So Daubert is a product of the Bird Home Automation Group. Daubert is available since May 2015, and since then we sold thousands of units already. And here in the US we started out in August 2015, so we're not quite new anymore. And it's also always important to know that we're not just this typical startup that just popped up, but we are a spin-off of this company, Intercom, that has been around in Europe for already 12 years. So there's lots of experience involved. So this is Daubert. It is the world's most advanced video door station for smartphones and tablets. And now I would like you to imagine that you are not at home. You are shopping or you are at work, and a parcel arrives at your home. The delivery person rings the door and you are away. But now with Daubert, you have the option to see who's there and even open the door and receive your delivery. How exactly does that work? I will go into more detail a little bit later. Or you're not at home and the burglar checks if you're at home. In fact, 90% of all burglaries, they start at the front door by checking if someone's at home. And now with Daubert, you have the option to answer your door anywhere. And you will also never miss a visitor. A really cool feature about Daubert is that it brings up to 8 smartphones and tablets. So let's say you want to grant access to your family members, or you want them to be connected with the Daubert unit, you can do that. Or you have a temporary, you have a party and want to grant access, a temporary access to your guests, you can do that as well. And afterwards, when the party is over, you can just delete the user from the Daubert app. So yeah, it pairs up to 8 smartphones and tablets, which makes it a product not only for one user, but for several ones. So here I have put 2 pictures right next to each other to show the difference of a standard 130-degree camera and then our 180-degree Daubert camera. So that's actually our headquarters in Berlin, and that's the founder. But yeah, you can clearly see here that with the 130-degree camera, you barely get a glimpse of who's in front of your door. And with the 180-degree camera, you really see who is there. You get the full picture of the person and therefore have some evidence if something might happen in front of your house. Then here again, there's you can really see how wide that angle is. I think that picture got taken in London. There's a double-decker bus and they're driving on the left lane. So I think that's London. But anyhow, there is no fisheye effect that you can find in many other products, but a very clear and crisp and wide 180-degree view. Daubert has 2-way audio communication, which means that you can talk both ways. So the visitor can talk to you, you can talk to the visitor. And Daubert also offers a built-in motion sensor. You can turn that motion sensor on and off in the app. And then also very important, every time the motion sensor detects something, a picture gets taken by Daubert and it gets stored on the app. And then you have the option to save that picture on your phone. The motion sensor can also be adjusted to certain zones. So let's say you live on a very busy road and cars are driving by, or there's a tree in front of your house and leaves are falling down. You can uncheck those motion zones so the sensor doesn't always detect motion when there's an event happening. So that's a really nice and cool feature that we just released a few months ago, that you can select the motion zones individually. Daubert has configurable illumination. That means that the light sensor, which is that little black dot or round thing over the nameplate, that's the light sensor that controls automatically the illumination of the doorbell button and the nameplate. And you can also configure the illumination through the app. So you can say, I don't want it to be lit up, so you can just turn that off. And then what might be really interesting for you guys is that Daubert comes with a connection terminal. And here you can see how to connect them. So Daubert is always hardwired. That's one of our big advantages. I will explain later why. The black and red cables are for the power supply. So you just connect them to the two existing doorbell wires, and that's how you would power it up. Then the two yellow wires are for the door opening button, if there is one available. The blue ones are for an existing electric door chime, so you can use the already existing door chime that you have in the house. You don't have to buy a new one and just hook it up to the doorbell, and that works. And also an electric door opener connector is available. Those are the purple wires, so you can actually really remotely open the door through our app by just pressing the unlock button. We have also the green and orangey cable. Those are network cables for Ethernet and PoE power supply. Even though Daubert works on Wi-Fi, we always recommend that you connect it via PoE or Ethernet because it's just a more reliable connection. And yeah, for sure, Wi-Fi is great too, but it always depends on how thick the house walls are, how strong the Wi-Fi signal is. So if you want to be rather safe than sorry, use a PoE or Ethernet cable for your internet connection. Daubert also includes an Rfid chip. It's at the moment inactive. We have an open API. I will talk more about this a little bit later. And Daubert is also SIP enabled and has an HTML5 widget. More about this in like a little bit as well. We also have an easy to install connector system for those connection terminals with which you can connect Daubert to cables in the house with the Daubert connection cables. It's a plug and play system, and you will see a picture of that in just a little bit. So yeah, with Daubert, you have the option to remotely open door, gate, and garages, which makes it a very awesome device and also distinguishes us from many other products. And it is very easy to install. It basically comes in Flash and Surface editions. Those are our main models. On the left, you see the D202. That's our full stainless steel Flash model. And on the right, our D201B. That's our surface mount in galvanized bronze. And yeah, now a little bit more deeper into the Daubert features. Daubert has 12 infrared lights integrated and an automatic IR cut filter built in. So the night vision turns on automatically if little light gets sensed, or you can also manually configure this in the app. Then Daubert is for sure outdoor ready because it is most of the time outside of your house. So it works in accordance with IP54 industry standard, which means it is outdoor ready, weatherproof. So Daubert works in really every environment, rain, snow, and also very hot environments. At the moment, we have Dauberts working in Minnesota, Alaska, Dubai, all over the world, really, and we have never had any complaints about, oh, my Daubert got too hot, it doesn't work anymore, something that never happened. So, yeah, we hope that it stays that way, of course. We also have a visitor history, which means that the last 20 pictures get stored on the Daubert and can be saved on your smart device. And by 20 pictures, I mean every time any kind of action happens, that means the doorbell button gets pushed or motion gets sensed and detected, Daubert will take a picture and saves it in our visitor history. Then, if the storage of the 20 pictures are full, it will start overriding the first one. So let's say the 21st picture gets taken, that will just override the very first picture in the history. So make sure you always save it beforehand if there is some important material that you want to be saved. But in case that's not enough and you would rather have a better history or storage option, we also offer cloud recording. So this will save all footage of the last 7 days in 20-second long videos in the cloud. And cloud recording is available in our shop and costs $4 a month, which we bill annually. So it comes to $48 yearly. Daubert works on iOS and Android devices. And as I mentioned before, it works with Wi-Fi, Ethernet, and with PoE. So you have 3 different ways to connect Daubert. The first one is you connect it via network cable and power cable. The second one is via PoE. And the third way is via power supply and Wi-Fi. As I mentioned before, if you want to be on the safer side, use a cable because that is just more reliable. Then the connection terminals, I went over them briefly before. Yeah, they're a big important feature of Daubert products. Daubert has an integrated echo and noise canceller, so the audio quality is really, really good. You don't hear any echoes. It's a very clear audio that you get when you talk to the visitor. We do have an open API that's free and downloadable on our website. You can just go to our website. There is a menu button called API, and then you can download the protocol in case you want to integrate Daubert in some kind of a third-party system or you want to play around a little bit. We also do offer a cross-platform HTML5 widget, which means that you can connect Daubert to your PC screen. And when you work on your computer, you will then get the push notification on your PC screen. You will be able to see the visitor. The only thing that doesn't work with the HTML5 widget is the audio. So it is a little bit limited, but it's just something that we wanted to extend and make available for our customers in case they're in front of the computer and don't have their smart device handy so that they can still monitor what's going on in front of their door. And of course, we also have lots of smart lock supports going on. We work with Keyzy, Kivo, the August smart lock, and these are soft integrations, which means that when you want to unlock the door, it will not automatically unlock immediately, but instead the Kivo, August, or Keyzy app will open and you can just take it from there. So it's not a hard integration, it's a soft integration that will just switch from our app into their app. So how exactly does it work? As soon as someone presses the doorbell button, you get a push notification on your phone, let's say, or your tablet. And then by swiping open that push notification, you will immediately open our app, or that will immediately pop up. And then you will see this user interface that you can see here. And yeah, that's your main panel where you can then talk to the visitor. You can unlock the door with the button on the left that has the key on it. And in case the night vision hasn't kicked in yet because it is a little bit delayed or it hasn't sensed a little light, you can also manually click that light button and then it will switch into a black and white picture. So you will also be able to see who's in front of the door when it's dark outside, and it's still a very, very high quality of the picture. So it's a very innovative technology that is paired with very exclusive design, and yeah, as you might hear and know, it's made in Germany. So when you're with your smart device in the house, then you will be connected through the LAN network and not the cloud. But as soon as you leave the LAN network and the house, the connection will go through our data center in Germany and through our cloud. So this might be an interesting point to understand how this system works. So here's our overview of the Daubert models, and just to make sure, those prices are US dollars and they're MSRP. So they're just our regular sales prices. And those are all of our models current models at the moment. They all have the same technical features. Just the housing is different. So even if here on the top left, that's the D101, that is a polycarbonate housing, even that's a different housing, it still has the same features as the D204. So let me just run through them really quick. The D101, as I said, has a polycarbonate housing. It comes without the full stainless steel faceplate that is here attached. So it is a completely white model. But you can additionally order that faceplate for $19 MSRP. The D101S right underneath the D101 is our Silver Strato edition, and it comes including the full stainless steel faceplate. So that's why it also explains that little price difference here. And then our D20 series is our full stainless steel series that comes in surface and flush editions. So yeah, we have the D201, the D202, and then right underneath the D201B, the D202B. The two models underneath, the bronze one, it's a galvanized bronze. So the manufacturing of those two models is a little bit more, it requires more resources because we have to galvanize the steel, and it's just a little bit more effort to create that product and to get the right finish, so that explains the price difference. The D203 has a pass-through letterbox included, which makes it a very neat unit or model as well, because you can at the same time also monitor what's going on with your mailbox. So that's a really nice and neat device too. The D204 can be used as a fence-mounted letterbox, or if you add two metal poles on each side, you have a very nice standalone solution. But the D204 comes without those poles, so you would have to ask a welder, I guess, if they could just make some for you, and then you have a standalone solution. So we're really proud that it's one of our latest and newest products. It's the Daubert Tablet Wall Mount Mini 4 that we just launched, I think, 2 weeks ago. And it's a great solution for installations that require an indoor station for the Daubert. It's designed to work with the iPad Mini 4. And it also has a wired connection for constant iPad charging. So the charging is hidden in the frame of the mount and is therefore out of sight, which makes it a very slick-looking solution. And then on the black model here on the bottom, you can see those 8 magnets on the side. And those magnets, they secure the iPad safely in the wall mount. It is available in brushed black and in a white edition, and those prices, again, are MSRP. So in case you want to have an indoor solution, that would be it. Daubert comes, when you order Daubert, this is what it comes with. Of course, the Daubert itself. And then also very important to know, Daubert also comes with the back boxes. You can order them separately in our shop, but just, you know, when you order Daubert, you also get them always included. It comes with the RJ45 connector for Ethernet cable connections, and then the connector system that I talked about before. That is the connector system to connect those connection terminals with the cables in the house. It's like this little black thing with the rainbow cables. Daubert comes with a power supply, and then that little plastic bag holds those plug-and-play connectors that I was talking about before, those orange and white ones, a screwdriver for the special screws for the faceplate, and antennas so that the signal gets transported through the stainless steel housing. With the flash model, there is an aluminum back box, and with the surface mount, it comes with a full stainless steel box that is a little bit thicker, so you might really want to use those antennas to get the signal through the Daubert. We're really proud that Daubert is such an integrable product. Meanwhile, we made many connections and integrations in the past. So, for instance, we just launched the integration with Crestron. There is a module available that got developed by a third-party developer called ControlWorks. Also, URC just announced their module that is available for URC dealers through their control room. So that will also give you a full integration into the URC system. There is a driver available for Control 4 that got developed by Syntegration and is distributed through House Logic. So you can also fully integrate Daubert in a Control 4 system. The same with RTI. There's a driver available on their website. And then Elan, Savant, the same. All drivers available at the moment already. And then Daubert is also UNWIF compliant, which is a really, really nice feature because you can now hook up Daubert to an NVR system. So that just makes Daubert, again, not just a standalone solution, but yeah, a very nice product to integrate. We have smart lock support, as mentioned before. Here I'm having Nuki, that's a German smart lock, and Kisi. But there are many more. There's August, there's Kivo. If you want to find out more about our integration partners and with what systems we connect, just take a look at daubert.com/connect, and you will find all the information there. If you have any questions about the product, feel free to go to our support page, daubert.com/support, because there you can find installation manuals, you can find quick start guides, installation videos, and much, much more. There are technical drawings, data sheets, all that good stuff that you might need for installations and whatnot, you can find there. You can also always shoot us an email at hello@daubert.com or give us a call in our San Francisco office here. We're also always on the road, so you can meet us at several conventions. They're upcoming. The next one is going to be ISC West in April in Las Vegas. We're going to be at CEDIA in San Diego, not Dallas, that was last year. San Diego this year, then ACES in Dallas, and ISC East in New York in November. So yeah, if you happen to be at any of those shows, please come by our booth, say hello. We're always happy to get feedback and talk about the product and your experiences with the Daubert. And then a quick overview of our offices. Here on the left, that's our headquarters in Berlin. So that's where everything happens. It's our development, our logistics, production, all that stuff is being taken care of from Berlin. In the middle, it's our newest office in London. And the picture to the right is our sales and tech support office here in San Francisco, where Helmut and I are sitting at the moment. So yeah, if you want to know more, go to Daubert.com, check out the product, and yeah, if you have any questions, reach out. I have prepared a little slideshow for you while we're going over now to answer your questions. I'm not sure how many came in, but I'm sure there are some. So yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few questions. So
okay.
Thank you, Sandra. So just I guess we should just recap the new Chime that's coming.
Mm-hmm. The Chime, yeah, as I mentioned before, the Chime is on the roadmap. And at the moment, we're shooting for the end of spring. I know that's a very wishy-washy thing to say, but I really don't have an exact date. All I know is that in Berlin, they're already working on the data sheets. And so, yeah, stay tuned. We will definitely post stuff on social media and let AllNet distribution know about our newest release date. So you will be updated as soon as the Chime is out, but it shouldn't take that much longer anymore.
Can you explain how the ONVIF compliance of the camera helps to turn this into a, how that integrates with NVRs?
That would be a question for Helmut.
Hey, that's Helmut speaking. Thanks, Bill. So when it comes to, as Sandra mentioned already before, we have an open API with which you can basically hard code the video stream into any NVR that you are using. And this ONVIF compliance does nothing else than simplifying the process of connecting the video stream to your NVR that you're using by auto-populating the settings page of your NVR. It finds automatically the Daubert video stream. It auto-populates automatically the ports that have to be used in order to access the video stream. And basically it just simplifies your process and saves you time out in the field.
Great, and that doesn't limit the your ability to any of the other features on the Daubert. It just makes that Daubert camera available on your NVR for recording.
That's correct. So there's a multitude or multiple video streams. So if you integrate the Daubert video stream in one of your NVRs, your features in the app will not be compromised at all.
Is there any way to connect an external speaker to the Daubert now as people are waiting for the Chime?
You can connect an external Chime, a conventional door Chime. You cannot connect a speaker. That's something different. But the Daubert has a connection terminal for a conventional door Chime. So if you have a retrofit where the owner already has a conventional door Chime and they say, hey, we really want to have those push notifications on the smartphones, but we also want to have our regular Chime chiming when someone presses our doorbell button, because maybe sometimes the smartphone lies in the kitchen and they're just somewhere in the living room. That's possible. You just have to take care that or you just have to be aware of the fact that the Daubert does not provide power for the Chime, so you need a separate power supply to power your Chime. But then basically there's just a dry contact in the back of the Daubert that closes when someone presses the push button at the Daubert itself, and then your Chime will chime inside the house.
Is there a tech support number available for dealers to call if they're having trouble in the field?
Yeah, that's possible. So we have on the one side, we have hello@daubert.com. That's our support hotline that works out of Germany and the US. So that's something that gives us a little bit an edge when it comes to answering in a timely manner. But also we have a support hotline that was shown also in one of the slides. It's located at Pacific Standard Time, and we're happy to assist you when you call in. So it's a dedicated partner hotline. It's not for end customers. We always emphasize that. So please don't give that number out to your clients. That's specifically for you. And in order to keep up our promise to provide you the best possible support, we would ask you to not forward that number to any of your clients. But it's 1-800-259-8071.
Is there a way to adjust the camera?
To adjust the camera, if you're talking about mechanically adjusted, that's not possible. Has a simple reason. The camera is an ultra-wide angle hemispheric camera. It uses a wide angle hemispheric lens. So it already has 180 times 90 degrees, and so we did not design a possibility to adjust it mechanically.
What happens if the house has, say, 10 Control4 touch screens? Will the camera show up on all of them plus the mobile devices, or is it 8 devices total?
So basically what happens is when you have the driver, it depends how you integrate, right? You know, Sandra mentioned we have the driver that was developed by Syntegration, and if you use this driver, then what will happen when someone presses the doorbell button, you will get a snapshot of the event sent to all of those touch panels, and then dependent on from which touch panel you answer the call, the live stream will start. However, that will not limit your ability to watch the live stream through the app.
On the history, can you download that to a local device or a computer?
Yeah, you can. Basically, what you can do is when you're in the history in the app, you can just touch the picture and download it to your smartphone. And if you have the local camera stream connected to your NVR, for example, anyway, you are recording it to your local storage.
In regards to the motion masking, how much control is there over the masking, and is it done as a relay on the video, or is it done as an overlay on the video output?
So the first question, the first part of the question I did understand. The second, I'm sorry, I did not, but I'm just going to answer at the moment the first. So how much control do you have? So basically when you are in, you can change settings concerning the motion sensor inside the app. And what you can do is you can set certain zones that shall be monitored and zones that shall be excluded. So for example, you have the camera installed at a walkway or close to a walkway or close to a street where you have a lot of movement and you're not interested in getting a push notification every time a car passes by or every time the neighbor's child is running up and down the street, then you can exclude that zone. Everything can be done conveniently via the app, and then you will not receive push notifications when, for example, someone runs up and down the street.
Can you be notified by motion? I have a client who has a constant problem with deliveries being dropped on the porch, but there's not ringing the doorbell.
Yes, so actually that's a good question because basically you can activate or deactivate the motion sensor itself. When it's activated, you can choose whether you want to receive notifications or whether you do not want to receive notifications. So you, basically a use case might be for not receiving notifications when you are when you want to see what's going on in front of your porch and want to save videos, for example, on your NVR, and maybe also have a snapshot, but you are maybe at the movies or somewhere where you do not want to be disturbed at the moment. Then you can just deactivate the push notifications, and as soon as you leave the movies, you just switch them on again, and then as soon as something moves, you will receive the push notifications again. Sorry, I just want to add that for the doorbell push notification. So at any time when you are like, hey, I need a break, I don't want to be notified if someone presses my doorbell button, I have something else, I have a date, whatever, you can just deactivate the push notifications via the app, and when you think you're ready again to talk to people who want to visit you, you just activate it again.
If the NVR uses the stream, does it still make it available to the control system?
To which control system? So maybe to simplify that, there are several video streams available from the Daubert, so it's absolutely no problem if you integrate it into your NVR and maybe also Control4. No problem at all.
Can you send to speakers through a doorbell interface into a distributed audio system?
So the Daubert, as mentioned, it has several relays that you could use. The one we talked before is, for example, the relay for the door chime. So I know a lot of integrators that use that relay to send a trigger to the audio system that then starts playing. But that's something basically that's not related to the Daubert product itself. The Daubert gives you the possibility to get creative and also connect your audio system, or maybe also send a trigger to a home automation system that we are not integrated yet into it via the API. And then you could play any kind of music or Chime music via your audio system. That is possible.
Are there plans to make it Apple HomeKit certified?
There are plans, there are active talks, but that's nothing that's going to be on the short-term roadmap. But yeah, we are in talks about that.
Can you elaborate on the electric door strike integration?
Yeah, so basically, as mentioned, the door chime we already talked about is one relay. It's a dry contact. The door strike is basically also from the Daubert side a dry contact that is closed when you trigger it via the app. And again, it's the same methodology than for the door chime. You need a separate power supply to trigger your door strike. And what might be interesting for you guys is the transformer that you use for your door strike and also for the chime. From the technical specs, it should have maximum 24 volts, and the power consumption of your chime or door strike should have should be maximum 1 ampere. Otherwise, the relay inside the Daubert might be damaged. So that is very important.
12 volt, 24 volts AC, DC, or it's irrelevant?
Both. And it's maximum 24, so it's not only 24, it's max.
Can you explain again about the connection once the user leaves their network?
Just try to understand the question.
Yeah, I think maybe what he's asking is when you're on the local network, you're connected via Wi-Fi, and when you're leaving the network, you're on the cellular data plan.
Yeah, that's correct. So, yeah, as mentioned previously, so audio and video, as long as you're connected in the same network than the Daubert, will be transmitted via your local network. That means this is actually the occasion where you have the best possible connectivity because there's also no internet in between. So I think that makes absolutely sense. Then you have the second option is basically when you're connected via a different Wi-Fi signal. That's already via the cloud, via our server system, and then via the Wi-Fi signal of maybe an office or maybe your friend's house. And the third possibility is when you are using your cellular carrier, then you will be connected via 3G or 4G LTE. And yeah, those are actually the three cases of being connected to your Daubert at home.
Can the chime function in the app for the existing door chime be turned on and off through the app? So if there's a baby sleeping, for example, you can turn the house off.
Unfortunately, at the moment, no.
Okay. I can just hop in really quick because I know I just got that info yesterday. The new chime, the new IP chime that will come out will have that functionality. It will be able to do that.
Can we get that tech support number one more time? Sure. It's 1-800-259-8071. Will the SIP functionality work with other intercom systems?
Yes, it will. And if you want to stay up to date with what kind of SIP systems we integrate, you might just want to check out our SIP page. That's very easily accessible on daubert.com/SIP. It will give you some information about our SIP module that we have built into the Daubert system, and it will show you the supported SIP phones like Grandstream, Fritz. It's more like a European thingy, as far as I know, yes. And it will also show you supported PBX telephone systems like 3Com, SIPGate, Placetel. And as we progress with our development, we will for sure add all the PBX systems and SIP phone systems that we support on that page.
If you have a front door and a back door situation, do you need two doorbirds, or can you integrate a standard doorbell button?
It depends. You know, the Daubert has certain features. If you want to have them on both doors, you need two Dauberts. If you just want to have the camera view and the push notifications on one side of your house, then you just need one Daubert. So that's a very subjective question. However, it is possible to manage multiple Dauberts through one app. So you can add up to 10 Dauberts into one app. To be honest, I've never seen that. The max I've seen is 5. But it's possible to add up to 10 Dauberts to your app. Basically what happens then is if Daubert number 3 when the button is pressed at door number 3, you will receive a push notification, and as soon as you touch that notification, it will pop up automatically the video stream of that specific doorbird. And then you can open the audio line and can talk to the person that is standing in front of this doorbird.
How do you access the motion masking?
When you receive your doorbird and download the app, there's an administration area inside the app. And with the doorbird itself, you will also receive a so-called digital passport. Maybe that's already also good to prime you guys. Don't throw that away. That is basically what you need in order to access the administration area and also to add the doorbird to your app. When you have accessed the doorbird administration area, you will see a section that says motion sensor, and this is where you can change the settings. It's very self-explanatory. It's very easy to go through. Anyway, if you have questions concerning that, you can always reach out to us, especially when it comes to first-time installations and getting known to the product. Don't hesitate and ask us your questions.
Is there a delay between rings in regular to SIP signal being sent out? When we hook up to an automation system, will the SIP signal be sent every time, or is there a delay between signals?
So the SIP signal will be sent every time. We had, so that's something where Daubert also had the possibility to learn. So we had an integration with one home automation system where we had some minor issues when it came to sending the SIP signal anytime the doorbell button was pressed. So what we did is we further developed the firmware, and what happens is as soon as the doorbell button is pressed, a SIP call is enabled. And when it's pressed, let's say 10 seconds after again, the previous SIP call is just discontinued and enabled again. So that ensures that anytime the button is pressed, a SIP call is enabled.
Can you elaborate more on the H streams? Is this limited by Wi-Fi?
Was that 8? Was it 8 streams or H streams?
8.
I think I do not understand where the number 8 comes from.
We talked earlier about having it on up to 8 devices.
Oh, I see. Okay, great. Thank you very much for explaining that. So basically, what was mentioned before is when you're connected in your local network, you will receive the video stream and the audio stream via the local network, and that counts. I have to build in a small limitation that counts for the first 2 devices that are connected in that network. When you connect a third, a fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, or 8th device, the video stream and the audio stream will be sent. Sorry, not the audio, but the video stream will be sent via the cloud. So what happens if you connect more devices than 8 is basically that the push notification service might get a little bit in trouble because it's designed for maximum 8 devices, and also the video stream is designed to be supplied to maximum 8 devices. So that's an issue where you might experience issues when you connect more devices than 8 to one Daubert.
Do you have Motion JPEG or H.264 support for touch panel integration?
Both. When you go on our website, you can download the Open API, and that's actually good. I just want to say that very briefly. The questions are really, really cool, really good, and it really shows that you guys want to do something with the product. So when you go on our website, daubert.com/API, you can download the API. It's a PDF document, and it will basically explain to you what's possible to integrate, and also give you the command strings. And you can basically copy and paste and customize them with your IP addresses and so on. And daubert.com/API.
Do the Crestron modules allow for digital output so you can tie to an event? I think what they're asking here is if the doorbell rings, is there a trigger command for the Crestron to be able to initiate some other scene based on integration?
To be honest, that's very specific concerning the driver. And Sandra mentioned before that was developed by ControlWorks. So those are questions we would ask you to bring directly to the attention of ControlWorks. So we can do a very basic support when it comes to the integrations, but we're here to assist you when it comes to the Daubert product itself as a standalone solution. For sure, we can also support you when it comes to priming the Daubert system so that an integration is possible. But all integrations have been developed, let's say, out of house. So we supported them, but we are not the number one when it comes to assisting you and supporting on that. So, for example, when it comes to Crestron integration, we would ask you to reach out to ControlWorks. When it comes to Control4, we would ask you to reach out to HouseLogix, and so on and so forth.
Can you customize the Chime sounds?
Yes, you can. That's also manageable via the app. So you can choose between different ring sounds that your smartphone will access, basically when you receive a push notification. And what we have new since firmware 1.02 that we are just rolling out, you can also customize the sound that the Daubert unit itself gives through the speaker as a feedback for the visitor that the signal was sent. So far, it was only a chirping that the visitor heard when he pressed the doorbell button. Now you can also customize that sound if you don't like it, or if your client wants something more classy.
Is the off-site intercom access guaranteed free for life for every Doorbird, as opposed to Snapshot Cloud Service, $4 a month?
Yes, so the basic cloud service that is free and that will stay free, so the push notification service and also the access to a limited amount of snapshots, that is free. You can also, again, we have everything on our website, daubert.com/cloud recording. It will explain the different cloud recording options. And if you choose the Cloud Recording Pro, how we call it, for the $4 a month, that's for sure just accessible as long as it's paid for.
There's a question about the specific available features for Control4 driver integration be available for Savant. Unlock any gate, door lock, motor, and that's really going to be specific to the driver for that for the individual company and the company that wrote it. For the lock release feature, do I understand that the wires at the Doorbird should be a 4-conductor for power to the Doorbird and lock, and then also a cat cable for the Doorbird camera?
So basically, the amount of wires and which wires you use, the wires you use are very standard wires, like normal doorbell wires. So there's nothing fancy you need. And then how many wires you need is up to your setup. So to be honest, I always recommend if someone anywhere already uses a hardwired internet connection, why doesn't he just supply also power via those power over Ethernet? So then you don't need to use the power supply that we ship with the unit, but you just need to connect an Ethernet cable, have a PoE injector or maybe a PoE switch, and you have data and power via the Ethernet cable. That makes installation, at least in my perception, a lot easier. And then when it comes to connecting your door strike or door chime, you can just use the existing wiring that comes with your chime or strike.
When video is sent through the cloud, where's the data center?
Germany. So our data centers are in Germany. The company itself has a very high focus on safety and security. That's why the decision was taken to have all data centers in Germany.
Does Motion JPEG and H.264 carry audio as well?
That's just the video. So audio is something different.
How impactful is running the app in the background continuously on battery life to the phones?
Depends on the phone you use. So that's a question I cannot really give you an answer, and it depends on how old is your phone. And that's very tricky. So I have it on my smartphone running all the time, and if it doesn't increase the amount of charging cycles I need to do on my phone.
What is the optional DIN rail power supply used for?
Okay, the DIN rail power supply is something very European. In Europe, we like to have our power supplies be located in our fuse boxes. That means basically it's an optional product. If you don't have space, for example, for the power supply that we ship with the unit, because it's a little bit bigger, you could order that one and just wire it directly into your wiring and maybe hide it in your fuse box. I know American fuse boxes look a little bit different, so that might not really apply to the US. It's standardized in terms of how you can connect it to the fuse box system. So it's something I wouldn't worry too much about. Just if you have an installation situation where you need to use our power supply but don't have enough space, reach out to us and we can explain you more in detail how you can make use of the power supply, the DIN rail power supply.
Is there a free dealer demo for the cloud recording?
Every unit that is shipped comes with a free cloud recording trial phase. Excuse me. And you can just activate that and then you have your free cloud recording.
That's all the type questions that have come through. If anybody is on a mobile device or taking this from the road, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask a question, please feel free. Now's a great time. While we're waiting for those new questions to come in, I just want to remind everybody that the session is being recorded. It will be posted up to our YouTube channel. I really encourage you to, any other technicians you might have in your organization or anybody that could benefit from it, please send them there, and we'll get they'll have access to all the recorded videos. Please subscribe while you're there as well. Okay, I don't see any other questions coming through at this time. So if there's anything else that you'd like to cover, Sandra, or we can wrap up for right now.
Yeah, there's nothing more from my side except for saying thank you for joining our webinar. And yeah, thank you for hosting AllNet Distribution.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.